I don't want anything else. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the love of it. And at the same time, I want to help other people, such as Lee and whoever else, get on and fulfill their dreams as well.
In the early 90s, a young duo from Atlanta took the world by storm with their infectious energy and unique style. Kris Kross, made up of Kris Mac Daddy Kelly and Kris Daddy Mac Smith, captured the hearts of millions with their hit single Jump and their trend-setting Backward Pants. But behind the scenes of their meteoric rise, they faced controversies, substance abuse, and a devastating loss that changed their lives forever. Get ready as we dive into the shocking and tragic story of Kris Kross. Jump, the rise of Kris Kross.
One day we was walking down the mall and we saw our producer Jermaine Dupri with one of his groups. And we went over to the group to get an autograph because they had a record out at the time. And while we was over there getting an autograph, he asked us if we rap, sing, and dance. We told him we rapped and danced a little bit. And then from there we took each other's numbers. Then we just hooked up and started doing demos.
The world of hip-hop was about to experience the rise of a dynamic duo, which would change everything in the music industry during this period. Kris, known as Mac Daddy Kelly, and Kris, known as Daddy Mac Smith, made up of Kris Kross, became popular due to their very energetic and distinctive style. However, they became household names after leaving the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. Both were born in Atlanta. Kelly on August 11th, 1978, while his namesake was born on January 10th, 1979, where they grew up with a rich musical culture. Despite being exposed to quality music in early childhood, their lives truly changed when the legendary Jermaine Dupri discovered them while performing at Lenox Mall in Atlanta in 1991. After recognizing their abilities, Dupri signed them up for his label, So Def. With help from Dupri Kris Kross, they released their first album, Totally Crossed Out, in 1992. It sold over 4 million copies. The iconic single Jump propelled this album's sales as high as possible, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 8 weeks. The first single of Kris Kross, Jump, was a huge hit. It immediately became a cultural event. The song's unforgettable hook and vivid performance struck a chord with young and old viewers alike. Their specific fashion style, which consisted of the wrong way clothes trend, was worn by them only and had become a trend that many young people adopted. The impact of Jump extended beyond the charts. The duo's youthful exuberance and relatable image endeared them to millions, and they were soon performing on major stages and appearing on television shows. They gained great fame, and Kris Kross became the face of a new wave of hip-hop musicians. Both the excitement and the fear of the sudden breakthrough into fame made them exhilarated and bewildered at the same time. As young teenagers, Kris Kelly and Kris Smith worked their way through the pressures of the music industry with the guidance of Dupri. They were so young, but also so mature, since they always used to take the alternative of their new life and felt free and happy in their performance. Kris Kross can be considered the group of artists who set the stage for the hip-hop religious awakening in the 1990s. Their successful venture is a tribute to their skill, the creativity of Jermaine Dupri, and the music of Atlanta. About Backward Pants, Kris Kross was not just a band recognized for their tracks. They also were the main promoters of an unconventional trend, putting on clothes so that they were backward. That was the inimitable style they chose. They started wearing their clothes in such a manner, and thus, it became a real culture all over the world. The concept came from the wish to express their distinctiveness in mainstream hip-hop. The hip-hop scene was crowded, and the musicians already knew pretty much everything. Therefore, Kris Kross was sick and tired of the trite situation, so they decided to stand out. Their clothing statement was not just a trick, it was an inseparable part of their image. The reverse pants were just small icons of their story that could make a difference in the eyes of their followers. They were the heroes of a new era in fashion. Kids at that time wanted to be the same as them, but they did not want the status quo to stop them. So they were the rebels of that generation, too. Kris Kross's fashion choice is indicative of the time when hip-hop steadily moved to inclusion in mainstream culture, offering an additional understanding of the broader cultural shifts of the early 90s. The pants worn backward by the duo were now integrated visually and became a reflection of the duo's lighthearted and daring attitude toward the use of clothing and music. At first, some were hesitant to accept the new fashion trend, but soon, the sales of the pants skyrocketed. Countless followers and fans could be seen on the streets, near schools, concerts, and fashion shows whose outfits were replicas of the group. Thus, The fad spread quickly and became a widespread frenzy. The success of this trend was a testament to the duo's influence. They had been able to completely change the idea of a simple outfit into something that became famous around the world, which proved their ability not only to influence music, but also to steer the direction of the entertainment world. The postmodern phrase still stands out as one of the most unforgettable elements of Kris Kross's heritage, which in turn adds to their ingenuity and the caring exit of their fans. How they met Michael Jackson.
Hey yo, first of all, we want to thank God for making all this happen. Next, we want to thank our fans, because we wouldn't be here today, for selling 5 million records too. Next, we want to thank our record label, Rough House, Columbia.
Yo, check this out. First of all, I want to thank our man Jermaine Dupree, our producer, DJ Nabs. We want to thank our families.
In 1992, Kris Kross was the most popular group. At this time, they were able to participate in Michael Jackson's European tour, which gave them the ultimate experience. This was indeed a unique chance for the two young kids, who were idolizing the king of pop. They had already proved their proficiency to the public spotlight, and this shifted them to the history of music. Kris Kross had the unique opportunity to accompany Michael Jackson on a major tour, and this experience provided them with a first-hand understanding of both the challenges and the rewards associated with such a massive endeavor. During this time, they were able to observe Michael Jackson's attention to detail, the meticulous artistry that he brought to his performances, and the sheer magnitude of his stage presence. Witnessing this level of professionalism and artistry was incredibly valuable for Kris Kross, as it gave them a clear sense of the dedication and skill required to sustain a successful career in the music industry. Furthermore, being in the presence of such an iconic figure like Michael Jackson served as a powerful motivation for Kris Kross to strive for excellence and give their best performances on stage. The European tour of Michael Jackson was not merely professional progress. It was also a personal one, especially for Chris Kelly and Chris Smith. They were children who had been Jackson's fans from the cradle, and their performance together was proof of how much they had advanced in a very short time. The tour, which was a success, was a seal of their reputation as the brightest stars in the hip-hop world. The addition of Michael Jackson's music also made Kris Kross popular around the world. It made them known to different concert goers and made room for them of other background singers. The tour experience was the major crossroads of their career, and one that not only displayed their capacity, but also got engraved in their life journey in music. Continuing success. The duo produced a second album called Da Bomb after Totally Crossed Out, which was released in 1993. The album sold over 1 million copies, thus making the duo look more professional in the hip-hop industry. The third and final studio album released by the duo was Young, Rich, and Dangerous, which was released in 1996 to show a more mature side, and the album sold enough to be certified as gold. Despite the major accomplishments, Kris Kross faced some issues of sustaining their popularity as the hip-hop genre evolved.
Me and Chris Smith, man, we're very cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my inspiration came from. I seen how Shawty had all the girls, and I was like, man, you know, he had the clothes, he had the girls, and you know, and then I get home, this dude on TV, dude on radio. I was like, I gotta do this. He dominating like on all levels. Like, I see dude on TV, then he on the radio, then he at school, getting us all this attention. I was like, I gotta do this.
The mid-90s led to more changes in the music industry because of new artists and the new music styles that had emerged. It was at this point that Kris Kross greatly struggled with how to progress in the new formation. Still, they enjoyed the positive ratings from the critics and started getting industry awards, which influenced Kris as the pressure of fame and their lives being an open book affected them. During the Great Scott era, Kris Kross also made a major shift in image on the fourth album, wearing jeans and portraying themselves as a teenage artist instead of an angry, rebellious man. Some of the songs included in the album Da Bomb, which contained songs such as All Right, show that the duo had grown musically. Although it delivered high record sales, the album was not as popular with the audience as the debut record had been. As for promoting their second album, Youth, Rich and Dangerous, Kris Kross intended to focus on their transformation from children who become real representatives of hip-hop culture. Songs like Tonight's the Night, along with Live and Die for Hip Hop, displayed their growing up on the move. Nonetheless, the unpredictable advancements within the musical niche and altering listeners' expectations were exceptional obstacles for the duo. Even though Kris Kross tried to evolve and alter their songwriting, it was impossible to achieve the same level of success as before. Lack of cooperation between two people and the stress that comes with it, especially when one is still young, were some of the reasons that made it more complicated. Indeed, Kris Kross was in a precarious position of having to adapt their music to contemporary trends, and yet they could not do so in a complete manner. This placed them in a disadvantaged position where they could hardly adapt to new sounds and could not aspire to be the new fashions they had been in the beginning. During this period, Kris Kross was met with a significant number of unexpected achievements as well as challenges. They demonstrated their ability to release albums that were lauded by critics and adjust the songs to the industry's preferences, thus showing their resilience to all the odds. The music world's endless tempo, nevertheless, later became a barrier against their continuous successful career. Unsuccessful comebacks and the group's breakup. During the 1990s, Kris Kross was on a downhill path, and coping with it became more and more complex. Their unique fashion style and childish look, which once had been the delights of most people, began to fade and lose their charm. The two, growing voices and constantly changing hip-hop landscapes, also became big hurdles. Even with their best efforts to continue playing songs and going around the world, they had declined in popularity and found it very hard to find ways to be relevant in the changing industry. Kris Kross released their third and last studio album, Young, Rich, and Dangerous. The album presented a more mature electronic sound and received positive reviews from critics. However, it did not achieve the same commercial success as their previous albums. During this time, the band experienced internal conflicts and felt that they were moving away from their original style and sound. The pressure of staying relevant and the pursuit of fame led to conflicts between Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, causing tension within the group. Their attempts to stage a comeback were not very successful, with networks making limited profits. Some of them, such as issuing new music and staging performances, failed to move the audience significantly. A few of the duo's efforts to get along with the new musical tastes at that time were criticized by both loyalists and detractors of the band. The truth hurts, and as time went by, it was a no-brainer that Kris Kross was no longer in the limelight. After the release of Young, Rich, and Dangerous, the two artists pursued different career paths. The breakup was the end of a long time for Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, who had been visible to the public from their early childhood. Even though it was indeed a hard step to give up, such a decision liberated both of them and allowed them to look for new horizons and pursue their goals individually. The end of their partnership led Chris Kelly to his career in music engineering and production, and later to his decision to set up his record company. Simultaneously, Chris Smith was dedicated to the marketing and business management field and worked tirelessly to form One Life Entertainment. Despite ending their professional relationship, both artists remained connected through their shared experiences and the legacy of Kris Kross. The breakup, while a sad event in their partnership, provided them with the opportunity to excel both personally and professionally. Life after fame. After the split up of Kris Kross, Chris Kelly, and Chris Smith used their ways to start anew and mark their paths outside the light that their early fame was shedding on them. Kelly, for example, was more inclined to focus on the technical part of music. He set up a music engineer and even created his record label on which he launched his artist, thus letting him be attached to the industry he always loved while he was experimenting with something different. Kelly's changeover was a fundamental one, as he was looking to demonstrate that he was not only a former member of a 90s rap duo.
I think, right now in hip hop it's just real watered down. You know what I'm saying? It's far away from the lyrical standpoint and lyrical ability that it was back when we was out. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it. I think it's certain things for certain people.
Meanwhile, Chris Smith decided to walk a different path, moving to marketing and business management. He established One Life Entertainment, a venture for the business side of the music industry, which was his interest reflected by the young Smith. Smith's fresh path gave him a chance to apply his worthy experience and industry knowledge most innovatively, and thus enable other artists to find their way through the confusing music universe. The post-fame period of their lives was characterized by a joint move to abandon their Kris Kross alter ego in a view to new life feel. This transition was not free of its demands, as they both met the tough yet necessary challenge of keeping up with the development in their once maturity-embraced industry. They had to cope with the fact that nowadays, people still see them as indulgent teens. It's true that both Kelly and Smith found ways to thrive despite the struggles. While Kelly's work in music production and Smith's entrepreneurial efforts showed their resilience and adaptability, they each had to deal with successful and unsuccessful situations through their post-stardom lives, moved by their wish to contribute something special and meaningful in different ways. By pursuing their specific interests, Kris Kelly and Kris Smith realized that they could use the post-fame phase of their lives for their growth and reinvention. Their endeavors underscore the enduring power of creativity and the journey of intrinsic satisfaction, where they can reach the highest levels far from the magic words of early fame. Reuniting the duo in 2013.
No, I didn't see that coming. We had just did the 20th anniversary, so it was like we had just started, having much more dialogue about them going on tour and doing other things after the 20th anniversary.
In 2013, the two-member rap duo from Kris Kross that were called together for the 20th anniversary of Jermaine Dupri's So So Def label. The mood was one of triumph, which resulted in a very touching moment for both the pair and their devoted followers. Everyone had noticed the suspense in the comeback. Who could miss out on the wonderful chance to see Kris Mac Daddy Kelly and Kris Daddy Mac Smith back on stage together once again? The excitement caused by the circumstances was evident. Contrary to the passage of time, the event did not mark a full-fledged revival. Instead, it was a brief but powerful reminder of Kris Kross's impact on the music industry following the release of their debut album in 1992. The duo performed their biggest hits, evoking nostalgia for the early days of their successful career and the joy they brought to their fans. The reunion exemplified the enduring bond between Kris Kross and their supporters, offering a glimpse into the strong connection between the musicians and their fans. Kelly and Smith had the opportunity to reflect on their successes and challenges, making the concert not just a celebration of creativity and entertainment, but also a meaningful exploration of their journey. For a time, Kris Kross's magic came back, thrilled the kids who grew up with their music, and also made new fans value the new hip-hop band's contribution. This comeback has certainly demonstrated their long-term impact and the undying attraction of their work. Not only their music, but also their unique bond with the fans who had supported them throughout their careers were the main issues addressed by the event. It was an emotional journey that reminded them of their legacy on the one hand, while the future, through their eyes, got a new perspective on the other hand, having a prime effect on the onlookers of the comeback. Kris Kelly's overdose.
Well, as far as with my health, I do not have cancer. I have a thing that you call alopecia, where you lose your hair. And basically that's it. I was at the park just chilling. I thought I was taking a picture for a fan. And the next thing I know, my picture's posted on the internet. But it ain't no big thing, because I actually posed for the picture. A lot of people saying reckless stuff, but people act like they never seen a person with a bald spot before.
On May 1st, 2013, the music industry was shocked and saddened by the tragic news of the death of Kris Kelly. At the age of 34, he was found deceased in his Atlanta home after a long and difficult battle with addiction. The toxicology report later revealed that his passing was attributed to a deadly mixture of heroin and cocaine, uncovering the deep-seated struggles with substance abuse that had been kept hidden from the public eye for many years. The passing of Kris Kelly vividly illustrates both the glamorous and the darker aspects of fame. He was a successful musician with fans worldwide, but he also struggled with personal demons that proved overwhelming in the end. His sudden death sparked discussions about the pressures and challenges that artists in the public eye face. Kris Kelly's death deeply impacted those who knew, worked with, and admired him. During his time with Kris Kross, he made significant contributions to the music industry and left a lasting mark. Despite reaching the heights of stardom, his public persona concealed his vulnerable side until tragedy struck. In the aftermath of his death, tributes poured in from fans and fellow musicians alike, celebrating Kelly's legacy while mourning the loss of a talented artist whose life was cut short. His passing underscored the importance of mental health awareness and the need for support systems within the entertainment industry, where the pressures of fame can often worsen personal challenges. Kelly's overdose is a poignant reminder of life's fragility and the complexities that come with fame, leaving behind a legacy that goes beyond his short time in the spotlight. Kris Smith's reaction to the death of a friend. The news of Kris Kelly's demise on May 1st, 2013, overwhelmed Kris entirely. Kelly's leaving Smith behind as his close friend and co-musician in Kris Kross was a cataclysm for which he has been experiencing profound grief. As his expressive message demonstrates, the depth of the link between the two and the scale of the influence Kelly had on his own life are conspicuously evident.
I just wanted to say one thing about Kris. We had too many memories, so I'm not gonna try to go through the 30 years that we kicked it. I just wanted to talk about the last time we was on stage. So right before we go on break, I'm on the right side, Kris on the left. And it's like seconds before, we're supposed to come on time.
They were more than just artists. Kelly was the missing piece of Smith's life. However, on a deeper level, it was not just Smith who thought that. Rather, continuing to be there for each other despite their highs and lows, Smith and Kelly have established a connection that is more valuable than any form of fame. The potholes in their journey from Atlanta to worldwide recognition could only be compared to the undertaking of a shared passion for music and forming a mutual understanding that defined their lives. Kris Smith's grief and their fan community missing all Kris Kross brought about by the singer's demise epitomized not only Smith's pain. The group Kris Kross not only improvised to the waves of jazz presenting as a backdrop to the track of the music. They were social reality makers who had a long-lasting imprint on the music scene of the 90s. The connection between Smith and his fans was established, and these people had already seen their careers and the charisma that was shown through their performances. Kris Kross's history centered around the force of personality and the new way that music was transformed. The dynamic between Kris Kelly and Kris Smith, their playfulness and their pioneering style, were the basis of the Kris Kross legacy. Even after the group disbanded, their bond remained strong. Smith's thoughts about Kelly's death showed the very deep integration of their friendship into his soul. The impossible hole left by Kelly's absence is visible in his own words. Kris Smith honored his deceased comrade, Kelly, for several years after his death while carving out his niche in the music business. His life story was an example of human endurance and friendship as a source of strength, reminding us of the fleeting nature of life and the significance of giving a personal touch to everything we are part of. What is Kris Smith doing now? At the break of the passing of the infinitude of his friend and musical partner Kris Kelly, Kris Smith delved into a trip of his self-improvement and professional recount. To Smith, the preservation of Kris Kross's legacy became a goal interconnected with being true to Kelly's memory. After Kris Kross broke up, there was so much rest, and Smith didn't move away from the music world. Rather, he seized new chances and remained committed to the duo's art ideology. Considering that he shared their past, the coupling did not surrender the issues of nostalgia and thus stuck to the common interests of mentorship through the exploration of creativity.
This morning when I woke up, this peace came over me. I know Kris is in heaven with our Heavenly Father.
Smith's dedication to mentoring young artists and staying active in music production underlines his resilience and determination. Thus, Kris Kross's trend of nurturing new talents will be felt in the generations to come. Simply coaching, the artist also tried several creative tangents, such as making music and helping the team develop new initiatives. Smith's being part of the entertainment industry signifies his in-depth love for music and his ambition to do things differently, which is why he is one of the most innovative players. Just like Kris Kross, no one can ever forget Kris Kross's significant effect on the music industry, while Smith's undying role has become a testament to their stable heritage. In the long run, he manages not only their background, but also their future, securing a path toward their influence that spreads over the generations. The way Kris Smith has made it through the pain and suffering he felt after the death of his friend Kris Kelly is what would set a whole new standard of love and bravery found in their relationship, as well as the strength needed to live when adversity comes. The willpower to continue comes from the lighthouse of power he has shown by his actions, and through his vivid imagination, is following in Kris Kross's footsteps. Kris's journey is one characterized by music, endurance, and strength that has the power to heal and inspire. Those who keep up with his path have been comprised of those who have done this and that. If you enjoyed this video, click on the ones showing on your screen now to watch similar content.